Welcome to AI News in 10, your top AI and tech news podcast in about 10 minutes. AI tech is amazing and is changing the world fast. For example, this entire podcast is curated and generated by AI using my and my kids' cloned voices. Here's what's new on Wednesday, April 22, 2026. We're tracking a big desktop CPU debut from AMD, fresh tremors in software stocks as Wall Street reassesses AI's impact, a closely watched chip roadmap day at TSMC's North America Technology Symposium, SpaceX's Starlink launch attempt tonight, and an earnings morning from Vertiv, one of the cleanest reads on AI data center demand. Let's get into it. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Need elite developers fast? Elite Coders connects you with rigorously vetted senior engineers in 24 to 48 hours. Staff augmentation, dedicated teams, or full project delivery, we've got you covered. Visit elitecoders.co to get started today.
Now, let's dive into today's stories. Story 1. AMD's new Halo desktop CPU, the Ryzen 9 9950X 3D2 Dual Edition, arrives today. Headline: 3D V-cache on both chiplets this time. You get 16 cores and 32 threads. And more notably, a massive 208 megabytes of total cache and a 200-watt TDP. Boost clocks dip a touch, 5.6 GHz compared to the prior X3D, but early guidance points to up to 10% gains in cache-sensitive games and workloads that love L3. Pricing wasn't disclosed at announcement. The single-cache 9950X 3D has been hovering around $675, and availability starts today. If you're building a top-end rig and you hate core parking quirks from mixed dies, this dual-cache design is meant to remove that variable entirely. That said, plan your cooling accordingly. 200 watts is serious. Sources: Ars Technica and Tom's Hardware. Why this matters? AMD spent years proving 3D V-cache can move the needle for gaming and certain pro apps. Putting the extra L3 on both CCDs should reduce scheduler gymnastics and may deliver more consistent performance across a wider range of titles if the price premium doesn't scare you off. Expect reviewers to scrutinize power and thermals just as much as frame rates this week. Story 2. AI is still the market's obsession and its anxiety. A Reuters roundup this morning flags that even strong quarters may not soothe investors, as they worry generative AI could erode demand for traditional software seats and services. The Software and Services Index is down roughly 16% year-to-date versus a 3.2% rise for the S&P 500, and names like Salesforce are in the spotlight ahead of results. Executives argue that proprietary data moats, workflow depth, and in-house AI are stickier than people think. But for now, AI deflation fears are real. Source: Reuters. What to watch: guidance language on copilots, usage-based pricing, and whether AI features are cannibalizing or upselling core SKUs. Also, deal cycles. Are customers consolidating point tools into platform assistance or adding spend? Those answers will shape the next leg for enterprise software valuations. Story 3. It's Roadmap Day. TSMC's North America Technology Symposium is underway in Santa Clara, with updates promised on transistor scaling and system integration, the stuff that turns PowerPoint AI dreams into wafers, packages, and shipments. Partners and foundry customers flock to these events for clarity on nodes, yield, packaging lanes, and capacity, especially important as AI shifts compute from just GPUs to whole systems designed around memory bandwidth and advanced packaging. TSMC has previously indicated its 2nm N2 process started volume production in late 2025, and it has signaled eye-popping 2026 capex between $52 and $56 billion to feed demand. Today's session should help clients triangulate what's real for late 2026 products, from mobile to accelerator silicon. Sources: TSMC event site and Tom's Hardware coverage. Why this matters: advanced packaging, chiplets, HBM stacks, and backside power has become the new bottleneck. If TSMC signals faster ramps or expanded CoWoS and SoIC capacity, that can ripple through GPU availability, AI server lead times, and ultimately the cadence of model training at scale. Before we continue, here's a quick message from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Family GPT, the AI chat platform actually designed for kids. If your children are curious about ChatGPT, but you're worried about what they might see, Family GPT gives you full parental controls, content filtering,
and the ability to align responses with your family's values, whether Christian, Muslim, Jewish, secular, and many more. Monitor every conversation, set usage limits, and let your kids explore AI safely. No ads, no data selling, complete privacy. Sign up free at familygpt.chat. That's familygpt.chat.
All right, let's get back to it. Story 4. SpaceX is eyeing a Starlink launch window tonight. Ars Technica's launch schedule shows a Falcon 9 targeted for April 22 at 22:40 UTC from Cape Canaveral, carrying another batch of Starlink satellites. As always, windows move, but it's another data point in SpaceX's blistering cadence and a reminder that low Earth orbit bandwidth has quietly become critical infrastructure for everything from off-grid sensors to field robotics and disaster response. Source: Ars Technica. Zooming out, continued launch tempo isn't just about consumer internet, it's about the backhaul for an AI edge. As more inference happens near where data is created, resilient links like LEO constellations are part of the reliability stack enterprises increasingly plan for. Story 5. An AI data center bellwether steps up to the mic this morning. Vertiv, which makes the power, cooling, and racks that keep AI training clusters alive, reports Q1 results before the market opens, with a call slated for 11 a.m. Eastern. Investors have used Vertiv's bookings and backlog to gauge how fast the AI build-out is converting from MOUs and site plans to equipment orders and installs. If management talks about lead times for liquid cooling and modular power or sites' regional grid constraints, that's signal. Source: Vertiv Investor Relations. Context: hyperscalers and model labs may dominate headlines, but companies like Vertiv are the early warning system for whether 2026 to 2027 capacity shows up on time or gets tripped up by transformers, switchgear, and cooling supply chains. Today's guideposts can feed right back into GPU availability, cloud AI service pricing, and when smaller players can finally get capacity. Quick recap. AMD's dual-cache Ryzen 9 goes on sale. The market keeps wrestling with AI's upside and downside for software. TSMC's Symposium sets the tone for the next wave of silicon and packaging. SpaceX targets a Starlink flight tonight, and Vertiv's quarter should tell us how fast AI data center buildouts are actually moving. We'll keep watching the wires and earnings calls. See you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. And a quick disclaimer, this podcast was generated and curated by AI using my and my kids' cloned voices. If you want to know how I do it or want to do something similar, reach out to me at emad@ainewsin10.com. That's AInewsin10.com. See you all tomorrow.